excited. All right, so okay, and let's just start with let me do the talking. Okay. Because I'm like, I know where I went wrong last time. But at the same time, I know that when, you connect like that, whatever spirit needs to, let flow is what happens. We don't have any
It-
kind of
Yep.
expectation on what's going to happen. Or I could tell though, connecting with you, I got real excited. Um, and I don't know, it wasn't like your excitement, but it was your family's excitement. Um, you
Yep.
know, I mean, I have like a waiting room of people that showed up.
Cool.
I know, right? But at the same time, can I just say that they're vying for the first spot?
That's very cool.
Sounds about right. Um, but anyway, we'll get to that. Because again, when I connect with people, I start connecting before we actually get together, just so I can, because I have to clear the last appointment and get in
Right.
touch with where I'm going next. And
Cool.
so, I was running around. And it's no mistake that you're like moving still as you're getting to the to the appointed time. Just running around, going back and forth. And then it's like you get excited. Do you have highs and low days? I mean, because I just felt like I was going from excitement, then I was, brought right back into reality. I mean, it's like a roller coaster, an emotional roller coaster inside your head. So it's like I literally had to just stop and smoke a cigarette before I called you. I'm like, okay.
That's funny because you were tapping into me right before you called.
Hmm.
That makes perfect sense because I was just having a conversation with my husband, and it was about five different subjects, all in about 15 minutes. And so, yeah, makes complete sense.
Yeah, right. I love doing that because it's just confirmation to those I'm connecting with, and I'm really connecting with you. I'm not just, we're not some pie in the sky.
I
Just
warned you.
oh no, no, trust me, and you're not the only one. Everyone has something going on right before. I
Right.
mean, and God bless them. I prefer people to be at home, be settled, be down 10 minutes before I call, but that doesn't happen, because that's life. Life doesn't.
Oh, that is downtime for me.
Right.
To actually sit and have a conversation with my husband, that is downtime.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what, like four or five different conversation topics all at once,
And that's the crazy part though, because that's the downtime. Is we're better. Our mind. I challenge people to just stop and try and meditate for a minute. I don't make any of my videos longer than 10 minutes long because you just can't. You're gonna fall asleep. Because nobody can stop their brain from moving and
Right.
going and constantly. It's all about putting it in priorities and finding a category. Like I think before when we were talking, it was like I would see these boxes of your agendas, your have tos, your goals, your you've got them all right there lined up. But it feels like, again, you're an old soul. You knew to categorize because you knew what you were coming into. And if you didn't put some kind of, and
Anyway.
my sister and I say that all the time. What the hell are we thinking? But we were thinking we could make a difference, and we
Right.
have the tools before we come in of what it is that we need.
Right.
It's all provided before we have need or want of it.
Hmm.
Because I know that we recycle. We don't we don't reincarnate. We incarnate, right? We're the
Right.
same spirit, but we're not always the same. It's not always Annie. It's not always Solana. It's we're different. We're different.
Right.
Different roles, different people, different genders. It's always different. But we have to come in, and you had to come in. You said I'll come back, but if A, B, C, D is left there for me. like little breadcrumbs of where and how to get through and where, find out who you're going to be with, find out how, you knew it all. You wanted to know, and we do. We get to know it all. That's why it's so
Yeah.
funny to me that people go through this life with questions. Because I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
You have to,
Deja vu is a wonderful thing.
and synchronicity, it all plays out. People don't even like the word sometimes because it's something that they have to pay attention to, and we're not. We're taught to have a really short attention span here. And our memories get wiped
Yeah.
all the time. People don't
Hmm.
understand what's really happening, but our memories get wiped all the time. And it's not because we always talk about forgiving and having to forgive. No, we have memories, we have emotions, we have all these things that are attached to that. So it's a real distraction. So you came in knowing what it is that you were going to do. And even though you see the obstacles, again, we think we got this. we, God bless us. But yeah, that's what we came in thinking. We got this. And so it's real disappointing and frustrating when you see, the things weren't going the way that you were hoping, because there's so many different possibilities, so many variables that come up. But you always knew that God had your back, that no matter what you went through, you had that faith and that foundation, that
Yeah.
it didn't matter, that you're going to plow through it. And because you know that, you're going to be all right. You can take a breath, and, it's not easy to go through this stuff, but we knew we would. And,
Hmm.
and so you came in with and I can testify to that, knowing you, that you have been someone who, regardless, you didn't change who you were. And that's the biggest thing that we fall into, is that people fall into changing who they are. That's why
Right.
you're in your 40s and your 50s going, who am I?
Yeah. Right.
Fi
Absolutely.
know thyself. And so you do. You were and again, I know you're wearing a cross, and I know your faith, but it's just embedded in your energy. That's what it. Like I said, you're able to categorize, and that gives you perspective to prioritize.
Right.
Because a lot of people don't have that perspective to prioritize. You
I don't
know,
know how many times I have said to people, your priorities are really strange.
wow, there you go. Because you know
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense to the way the golden rule is
I
supposed
just
to
said it
follow.
to my sister last night.
Wow, there you have it.
It's,
It
God, I just said it to my sister last night because we were going over a bunch of things that she's going through and dealing with, and she's telling me the order to which she is planning things. And I said to her, your priorities are just very strange to me.
Yeah, I mean, because again, we're just. Oh, hang on, Mama. Hey, I'm doing a reading. No, no, you're fine. I'll get with you. Um,
That's the second time we've done this, and this time she's come in around about the same time.
sweetheart, it's every time.
Oh,
She
yeah.
forgets what I'm doing. God
Oh,
bless her. I don't, whatever, because she's got short-term memory loss. She's had her, strokes. It's okay. God bless her. She's not like, you know, a lot of other people. She's very got a sweet disposition, so it's easy to. I know when she's cranky because she's funny.
that's all.
Oh yeah, but that's life. See, that's saying, full of distractions, full of things, that are swaying. Just they're swaying us over this way when really we should be on that straight and narrow. We should, because our priorities are all screwed up because we're taught from birth that this world's really just a bunch of lies. I mean, everything, even down to our traditions,
Yeah.
are false. And so when you're living and growing up in that, you have like the flat earthers today. They are so dismayed with their reality they can't even face their physical reality. That's just a prime example.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
disrespect to anybody's belief system because it's
Right.
swayed. It's messed up. And so, we knew that. We knew that. We knew that coming in. We knew the devil was here, up residents. And so you were going to have that perseverance. And you have that. And so it's embedded in you. I mean, as soon as I get into that root chakra, that's what your foundation is. So I love it that you never let anybody sway you from being Annie, because that's who you're meant to be. Everybody needs to know that we all have a piece of the pie here, and
Right.
until we put that piece together, it's all.
I actually just put up a post today on Facebook that says I'd rather be hated for who I really am than loved for being fake or something like that.
Oh yeah,
Something along those lines.
right. There you
I
go.
actually posted that this morning.
Wow, cool confirmation. I didn't see this, by the way.
Go figure.
But yeah, no, that's confirmation, and that's all right there and laid in your root chakra. And so, have both your parents passed, mother and father?
Yes, ma'am.
Because daddy's right there in your root chakra as well, coming forward. Like I told you, I had a waiting room, and so dad won. I don't know. Was he like that for us in life? Yeah, that he's stepping up um, and again in that root chakra. So he's a lot of your foundational stuff. He was like an anchor for you. And a lot of times, even if it was how not to be, uh,
Hmm.
that's what we did. We needed, because trust me, I have people that were important in my life, but their biggest lesson was for me how not to be. But he's like a solid figure again in that root chakra, and he's on your right side, which is all your female aspects. So you're a strong personality, you're strong, gusto, you're a drive for life. Um, Again, because even if it's showing you how you're gonna do it, opposed to how it's being done,
Right.
I mean, and we learn that young. A lot of people think they still have to go through life learning how to be and how to love and how craziest thing to me, because we
Yeah.
learned that you got that when you were young. Your mom feels like she's very outspoken, but at the same time, she took a lot of shit. Um, she's like got that demure almost of intimidation, intimidated. I don't know if that was her force um,
That she
with your
was
dad.
intimidating or that people intimidated her.
She was intimidating force because she was timid and intimidated. I don't know what kind of raising she had with her parents. But
Right.
if they're going to throw you in that kind of atmosphere, of intimidation and fear, and I mean, it's like that. That's the rule of the spoon instead of the rule of the. Did she hit you with the spoon? Did she get hit with the spoon?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
never.
The wooden spoon was her go-to.
There you go. Again, I that just came out. That's her talking. That I had no idea. Um.
She didn't use it often though.
Yeah, but it was that she still felt like she had to have that force. Again, when you're bullied, you can either grow up to be a bully or you can grow up to, put your foot down and be an intimidating force. So bullies, don't. But at the same time, she felt really timid around your dad. I don't know if he was her driving force, and he like. Of course, we're talking about being married and raised up in a time where it was just about being married, and that's all she knew was that she was
Right.
supposed to be. That's what a woman
Right. Wife,
was,
mother, homemaker, or something like that. Yeah.
and you stand by your man. It's
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see divorce, but I see separation. Um,
Many times. Yeah.
okay, because it's like she's just showing me that she'd left. She'd walk off. She'd
Oh no, she never left.
no
Absolutely not.
the relationship, a separation. That just means she's walking away from it. She's break. But she always came back.
No, that was my dad.
All right. Well, that's just the way the relationship went. It was like if there were one of them doing it, she's living it too. So she felt, really intimidated by that, and made her feel less than. Because again, she's not living up to, in her own mind, again, this is the deep, I deal with that with my mom too. Stand by your man attitude got us in trouble. I'm sorry, but some shit happened because of that. It's one thing to take a vow to be loyal, but it's another when that loyalty is broken.
Right.
So what do you do with that? You're supposed to stay with it. Stand by your.
When my
That's
first husband and I were splitting up, she had said to me, "I don't understand why you're doing that. He's a good man. He doesn't drink. He doesn't do drugs. He doesn't hit you." So she
see,
thought that
that's the
was what made a
mentality.
good man.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, and then you come up with movies like The Burning Bed. I'm being referred to right now. The Burning Bed. Have you ever seen that movie? The
yes,
woman was abused so much that she just ended up killing him because there was no way out. She didn't see any
right.
other way out because he always would find her if she tried. So
Hmm.
that's what we again, the energy play. She's just showing me that, you know, I guess your dad burned that bed several times. That metaphorically.
Yeah. Well, my dad is the one who couldn't keep his dick in his pants.
And that's why we keep referring to a bed, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
I know it's a crude way of putting it,
No.
but
Hey,
that's
again,
straightforward.
again, raised in a time where that men were allowed to. It was looked frowned upon if you were a virgin till you got married, and it was it's so ass backwards for a man, and then what you're supposed to be for a woman. Woman's supposed to be pure, but then she gets raped, or suffers incest, or I mean, what? So anyway, turbulent time is pretty much what she was showing me. At the same time, they're there together now. Different roles. Let me just look and see. Again, those are confirmation things, just to let you know that's who's showing up. Um, and so you can trust when she says that, for whatever she said, you found a better way. Um, your way was better. Um, okay. I mean, she really feels apologetic for suffering even the thought of the times. you know, that's just the way it was. Um, so did something happen when you were younger with the bicycle incident?
Yes.
Well, she's just saying she knew then that you were stronger than her. So I don't know how old you were at that point, but you look rather young.
Did you want me to tell you, or?
You may, but if you want to, she's just letting me know that she knew then that was her point for you. Where she looked at you differently, and she knew then that you were strong, you were stronger willed, just stronger person.
Right.
Made her, look at you differently.
Yeah, I was about 14.
Wow.
I got hit by a car.
Oh my God.
Yeah, badly.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Yeah, yeah, it
Wow.
was pretty interesting.
So
And
your recovery was.
well, my parents didn't believe in pain medication because they were so afraid that you turn into a junkie.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, so I was casted from knuckles to shoulder and so forth, and my back was all messed up and whatnot, and I wasn't allowed any pain medication other than aspirin.
Wow.
Yeah, so, but I'm happy for that. I'm
Yeah, well,
happy.
I'm allergic to all that crap they try to give me, so become, which I don't know would be worse. I suffered anyway, and was
Me,
throwing up. But
yeah,
so
pain and
she,
medications don't get along.
so she that really showed her just how strong. Like she wouldn't have known how do you get through other than the faith. Because
Mm.
that really changed her view of you, though. Let her know that you're going to be a stronger person, a force to reckon with, as a daughter. Even.
Yeah, they've known that since I was very little, and
Well,
my dad had a nickname for me ever since I was about 2 or 3 years old, and very rarely called me by my actual name.
oh wow, what was the
Yeah,
nick? Don't tell me.
nope.
um, All right, so let's just move on forward. But anyway, that was a turning point for her in her, you know, in your strength. Even though she may have turned and still was mom, um, she saw you differently from that moment on. In her heart of hearts. Um, all right, so you'd have, well, just to see what this is, because I keep seeing this little like glimmer of light over here. Which is why I try to stay in a dark room. I know we videotape and I have to hit on, but I like to stay in the dark so I can see what they're saying. Um,
Yeah, I like it to be dim too when I do readings.
yeah, I literally sit here with my eyes closed. Except I'm talking a lot. But anyway, um, so this little light of mine, now that song is going off in my head. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Um, all right, so I'm just taking that as whoever this because now I don't feel like it's mom or dad. I feel like there's another woman coming forward. She feels like an aunt. Very strong religious. Sunday school 2-3 times a week.
Say that again.
Sunday school, church 2-3 times a week. Um, she was always going to church. Um,
Yeah, no idea who that is.
she's
I don't come from a very religious family.
okay. But it was when this little light of mine. That's the song. Um, this little light of mine. What time was that? So I'm just trying to connect with you because if you didn't have no one who was religious, what is this implication? Who is this trying to come in? Because again, it's old energy, but it feels like aunt could even be great aunt. Someone that was an aunt, I don't, or felt like an aunt. In any way, she brought a real strong faith to the table. I'll tell you. And she feels like she was a churchgoer. Because I keep seeing a church and I keep hearing the little song, but it's a little chapel. It's not like a huge church. It was a little chapel. Um, well, and I say a little chapel, but it's not like one room. But I don't know why I'm seeing the chapel. Okay. Scenery. Here it is. I'm just gonna go that she was very faithful, very religious, and so, and I still want to stick to an aunt, and even say it's on your mom's side, um, because she's on that side for me, standing next to your mom, and she came in as a light, just a little light, uh, flashing light for me, and started singing that song. So, even though you may not have had a religious upbringing, she did, uh, and she was very strong in her faith. Um, and again, she must be a strong force in your mom's life as well. So she had to have been alive, to be your mom's aunt. Even if, like I said, a great aunt. I love the scenery and everything, and the little church with flowers and all that. But which point? um, and again, just a real faith foundation background. And I guess they just want to, she's not saying a name but making me feel like she's on mom's side. And that's been your mom's even foundation. It was like, rule of the rod, or was that the? Now she's throwing sticks at me, like rulers. um, Y'all weren't Catholic though. Was there Catholic in the background?
We're Roman Catholic.
Oh, all right. Still, that's the foundation of her, and she was raised in a time where she was like, you know, the rule of the rod as well, and that again shows repetitive on that tradition.
I wish I could help you. I have no
Um,
idea who it's.
I know, and I'm like, I wanting to look beyond. I mean, she's just letting me know, I guess, foundationally wise, that this is what your mom's foundation was, and she was just, again, why were they so apologetic for your mom's behavior?
Um, no idea.
I mean,
My mother was a saint.
maybe that's why they expected too much, and they expected too much out of all of you. Um, because even though
Mm.
she's said as a saint, she wasn't a saint. Um,
No, when I say my mom was a saint, I mean as in.
Good person, I know.
Okay, I always tell people my mother was one of the richest people I've ever known because nobody that had ever met my mother ever had an unkind word to say about her. Everybody loved my mother. The best way to explain my parents is Edith and Archie Bunker. My mom was very much an Edith Bunker for the majority of my life.
Well, then that makes
Strong woman.
perfect sense.
Yeah, strong
Yeah.
woman, but, yeah, so, like, the first time my mother actually used a curse word, I think she was in her 60s. And she giggled when she did it, you know. you
Right,
know.
right.
As far as an aunt is concerned, she had one sister, and they were very, very close, but she was not a religious person.
Hmm.
And my grandparents were from Italy, and my mom was born here in the States, her and her twin brother. And I think one of her other brothers was born here in the States. Other than that, the rest of them were born in Italy.
Ah.
Um,
Which makes better scenery, I would seem, for the church and stuff because it wasn't like a.
right. But
Gotcha.
that's my grandparents. My mom has never set foot in Italy. And my grandmother, if she had brothers and sisters, I don't know anything about them.
Oh, wow.
And my mother has never met any of them because they were in Italy. If there were any, I honestly, this is an interesting question because my brother did a whole family tree,
Uh-huh.
and so we have all the paperwork and everything for when they came to Ellis Island, blah blah blah. But I know my grandfather had a brother that did eventually come to the United States. But other than that, I know absolutely nothing about any siblings that my grandmother
Interesting.
and grandfather had.
Right.
Other
Well,
than that.
that's interesting. And which makes sense why she wouldn't give me a name even.
Right.
Because normally I get some kind of an initial at least, or some idea. But and again, not immediately. She was making me feel older.
Right.
And the church and the scenery I saw was, it's beautiful. Trees and vines and flowers, and it didn't look familiar to me. That's why I said it looks like a chapel, but not like a chapel.
Hmm.
But at the same time, that's the foundation. And it,
Now, if
wow.
you want to go to my father's side of the family and take away the whole aunt out of that, I have an uncle on my dad's side that was a monk,
Oh, wow.
which would explain the smaller chapel, the very plain chapel, and the high religious portion of it. But that's an uncle,
But
and
that's an
that's on my
uncle.
father's
Yeah.
side.
This was definitely a woman. Could have been a gay monk. I don't know. But no, she didn't feel
That
like a.
again?
Huh? So,
What did you say?
he said unless he was a gay monk.
Yes.
Oh, he was.
Yes.
Wow. Well.
Um, back especially in Italian families, if you had somebody that was gay,
Yeah.
you hid that fact, and if it was a son, obviously with a daughter too, but you pushed them
Yeah.
to seminary.
Wow.
So,
Interesting. Which is where they just floor a gay man. So, because Wow, that's interesting then. And again, because of it, he did feel more, or it does feel more like a female energy. But if you can't, relay it to,
Yeah, he wasn't feminine at all.
no, just a feminine energy,
Right.
which is what a lot of gay men have, and they feel like that's why they're attracted to men is because there's something, female within them. They don't
Right.
see,
They've
they don't,
been incarnated so many times as a female that even like as a male, they still hang on to the
they
female
still,
tendency.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Right.
Especially if their past life was of the opposite sex. You know,
Right.
I mean, their most recent that can sway things, and that's what again, we know the distractions coming in, but that's interesting, and I love that you pointed that out because that makes more sense. And again, I want to put him next to your mom though, so I don't know if even your mom knew. Did your mom know? I don't know.
Oh, my parents
Or
knew.
okay.
The whole family knew.
Mhm.
You know, it's not something that really was talked about.
Mhm.
My mom and my dad's family were like oil and water.
Mhm. Mhm.
So there was no closeness between him and my mom, because I can't even bring the two of them together that way because
Right.
there was such a divide that she
Mhm.
wasn't anybody on my dad's side.
Yeah. Well, okay.
They were not people.
Right. And again, it's the energy. I, mm. All right. So it's funny they're trying to bring all this together because they're and whoever's coming forward, and that makes sense. He's singing that song. He's so religious, and I'm sure he was happy for the monk outfit.
Well, he eventually met a priest at a parish, a very highly respected priest.
Sure.